with our Hit Squad Academy, if you've got game point, whoever's got the game point, if you don't win the game, you go to 0. If we do tiebreakers, whoever has the game point or the match point on the tiebreaker, if you lose, you go back to 0. The other team still keeps their points. Make them try to close out the
That's
game
a real good one. Yeah, it's a great. We've used that. If you didn't hear that, when you have game point, if you don't win game point, you go back to 0. So you created a tremendous amount of pressure on that kid playing, but you're also reinforcing how important it is to really be focused, buckle down, get your first serve in play, and take care of business on that game point. That's a great one.
We do a handicap system. We have a ladder since we go from 1 to whatever. We usually, the top players that have earned that spot, if you play number 6, you usually start minus 15 or minus 30 down. Of course, instead of going 30 love and giving somebody 2 points, this guy has to win more points starting below 0.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do that with 6 Division I college players, then we can certainly take advantage of that with our juniors, you know? I mean, this happens all the time. It happened for me, I think it was Wednesday. I had like 4 of our best kids there, but like 6 or 8 of them were gone, and the disparity between them and the others was pretty big. And there was an odd number. We didn't have a matchup in our afternoon match play. So we did that. I think they played where this kid only had 1 serve and every game started at love 30. And they ended up having a great battle. You know, the other kid that was below him felt like he was in the match, but it put a lot of pressure on this older kid to really take care of business when he was in that situation. Yes, Ken?
We play 3 to win a major.
What's that one?
If you play 3 points. If you win all 3, you win 8 points. If you win 2, you stay on the court. Then the guy comes off, the new guy comes in. You have to play all 3 points out. The odds, if you're up 30 love, the odds of winning the third point is 8% against any level of play, veteran and all, doesn't matter. So you work on how to win the third point. In psychology, in the beginning we're okay. I lose the first point, no, I can't win a major. I can win 2 points to stay on. I lose the second point, I got to stop this guy from winning a major. And the guy who's got 2 points always tries to overhit them. It's called 3 to win a major. And you can have 2 courts going in. You got a third guy waiting here to go in. You got 2 courts going over, another court going there, and whoever loses comes out. And then play the first guy to win 3 majors or 4 majors.
Kind of reinforce the momentum too, isn't it? Yeah, good. All right, one more I've got for the stipulations. Let's go full court again. We'll have the juniors go first this time. You're going to drop feed and play it out, okay? Now what I'll normally do here, and again, this is allowing, it's reinforce. I said something earlier, you might have heard me say when I called time and I yelled out, play that last point tough no matter what the score is. Because a lot of times when you're doing all of your live ball play, the coach will say, okay, that's time, because we play on time where we are. We don't play to certain games because we want everybody finishing at the same time, not staying around. It never fails. When a coach calls time, the kid that's down 2-9 just goes, whatever. But we try to reinforce to play every point tough because you don't want to play your points based on the score as far as your toughness goes. Tactically you would. You want to play every point like it's a match point. So we always yell out that. Now this particular drill, you're going to drop feed and play it out, and we could have 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 courts going. We could be doing half court, full court. But at any time, guys, if I yell out go, the point you're playing becomes a 5-pointer. So they're playing regular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the score's 7, 6, and all of a sudden out of nowhere a coach yells go. And they're in the middle of a battle and they're like, oh geez, this is a 5-pointer. And they're nervous, and again, recreating pressure, making them play a tough point. So we'll pretend we've been playing for a while, pretend you guys just played out. You know, and we would just kind of randomly do it every once in a while. Playing for 1 is always, anything goes. Okay, play 1 more, second point. Okay, go. Instantly becomes a 5-pointer. You'll typically see kids be a little bit soft. Oh, I like that you went for your shot. That's good work right there, nice. She had a nice sitter, even though it was 5-point. I love that you went for that shot, that was really good. So just again, recreating a little bit of pressure as you go through. All right, next thing for us, let's go 2 coaches. Let's have you guys play some points out with some serves, if you don't mind, okay? We'll just keep score 1, 2, 3, 4. I stole this from Advantage Magazine about 10 years ago, and it was an article on the Irish Davis Cup team. Yes, I know, you didn't think they had a team either, but me being Irish, I said, hey, I'm gonna read this article. You guys go ahead and play if you don't mind. And they call it distraction tennis. While they're playing points and playing matches, they're never allowed to call let, unless there's a safety issue. If there's a ball that rolls on the court, we'll call let, but there's no lets allowed. So what happens is, keep going, and we'll alternate deuce and head. You guys keep going if you wouldn't mind. Coach is kind of working around. Hello, 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 hey, hey. You know, 15 love, come on back over. 30 love, slide back over. Dropping the keys, dropping the racket. You know, we'll roll the ball across. Keep playing, guys, if you don't mind. We'll do one of these. Again, not a safety issue. Roll the ball across the court, whatever. Anything like that, just to recreate some distraction for them. A little bit of pressure. It's fun, too. Coaches get kind of wild and crazy and sing some songs and that kind of thing. So, distraction tennis, no lets allowed. The only thing I would say is make sure that you're safety conscious. You know, the ball's by their feet and that kind of thing. Definitely call a let there, and maybe reinforce that with the kids as you go through, too. Hello! Watch it. Look out, look out! Good focus, guys. Stay with it. Stay with it. A little dropper. Nice. Switzerland's all over that, though. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let's have all 4 of you come down to this end, if you don't mind. Do I see some cones here, Phil? Yeah. Great. Awesome. All right, thank you. One other drill I really use a lot, and this is a great drill because one of the things for the kids, you go over and split the boxes in half on both boxes, is how do you recreate pressure when they're working on their serve, other than playing points? That's always difficult. They're standing there, they're hitting serves. Yes, we can have them count. We can have them, only hit, thank you, only hit flat. Let's have you guys warm up your serves. Right now, all 4 of you can serve at the same time, okay? But recreating pressure with the serve, other than when they're playing points, we do what's called the 30-ball skills test. And I'm not going to do 30 because it's going to take too long. We'll do a shorter version of this. But what we're doing is, hey, let's have you guys do me a favor. Actually, if you guys could grab 10 balls each from here and put them in your own pile back in the fence. Your own pile. So they're going to have 30 balls that are their balls. 4 kids can work together on a court. And what we're going to ask the player to do, and you can vary this depending on their level, we're going to ask them to make, not hit, make 5 serves in the left half of the left box, in the center, in the middle, and out wide. So we're actually asking them to make 20 out of 30 serves. Now what we've done by doing this is we've created pressure by splitting the box in half. We've created pressure because they only have 10 misses. And I'm also going to create pressure because I'm going to ask every one of them what their number was and we're done. So again, kind of a dead ball away when they're serving. Now one thing I'd like you guys to do, and you can have all 4 of you serving, I want you to only bring 2 balls at a time with you, just like you would in a match, okay? So let's come on up and hit. And what you guys are trying to do, if you didn't hear me, you're trying to make 5 balls in each half of each box. Now, this doesn't count though. If you're working on your serve, let's say that I'm working on, I don't know, maybe the middle half of the box or something like that. Now, if I go like this and I make my serve, I don't get to go, that's one for later. That's a miss. Because I have to stay till I make 5 in the middle. Does that make sense? Now, you have the luxury on your very first serve, wherever you hit it, that's the half you're going to work on. Okay? Let's go ahead and try it. This also allows you to float around and coach, maybe reinforce some technical things, but it's just a way for us to add a little bit of pressure. I know one of the things that we're big on is trying to duplicate match play, so that's why we always only let them have 2 balls at a time. Hit 2, walk, hit 2 balls and walk. Take your time as you walk up, and again, stay on that same half until you make 5. And we do it as a 30-ball skill test. It usually takes us about 15 minutes to get all the courts done. And if a kid gets done early, we have them go pick up 30 balls so they're not standing around waiting, and we're able to talk to them and kind of walk through some of their stuff. Okay, let's hold up. And I'd go around and ask them, how many did you make? Okay, you made 20 out of 28, that's awesome. But do you feel like you were hitting at match speed? Now, the other things we can do with this drill to make it more challenging, you can maybe make a depth line. You could say, let's make 20 out of 26. Let's hit first serves only. We do one, we do one where, because a lot of the kids will do this. If they're working on the middle half, they'll go just to get it in. So we'll say, hey, for the advanced kids, there's a depth roll. You got to make it, but it's got to hit the back curtain also before they can get indoors. It's usually easier. It's got to hit the back curtain before it hits a bounce a second time. So now you're recreating a little bit more pace, a little bit more pressure on that too. Okay. Anybody else on that drill, maybe to add or tweak that a little bit with distraction tennis, pressure tennis? Thank you so much so far, guys. Okay.
Kevin, one thing I was going to add that I do with the juniors. Do you notice how many kids they forget to breathe out there?
Yeah.
And even that silly little thing that we do with the little kids, we put the blowers in their mouth. I get the ones that are a little bit louder, so as you breathe in, they make a noise, and as you blow out, they make a noise. So even like getting deeper in the court, it's a longer breath, longer noise on their serve, shorter breath, shorter noise. Awesome. That's kind of a fun thing to do and makes you pay attention to the fact that they're breathing in and breathing out.
That's great. Yeah, they're reinforcing the breathing. That was one of the things we said earlier with the counting drill. We actually want them to say the number when they're striking the ball. So they're 1, so at least there's something exhaling as they go out. The only other 2 things that I had before we open it up was I think on H, tiebreakers. Play tiebreakers, play them all the time. Kids just don't play in tiebreakers the way we all want them to play because of that pressure. And yet we talk our kids through tiebreakers, we tell them what they're supposed to do, but we don't put them in that environment enough. And I don't know if they still do this, but when I was in Florida, I used to spend a little time in the afternoons at volunteers with the girl I was working with. And every day from 4 to 5, on all of their courts, they play breakers. And it's really cool because down on court number 50, which of course isn't going to be Sharapova or those guys, are 2 9-year-olders playing breakers. And up on the main court with Bollettieri is Tommy Haas and someone playing breakers. And they really reinforce the importance of playing breakers and that it's in their repertoire every single day, and they do it for at least an hour. Now, I don't know if they still do that, but 5 or 6 years ago they were doing that. The importance of playing tiebreakers. Strategically, tactically, we can talk all we want, but put them in there and put something on the line. You know, what we typically do in our program, we drill in the morning with our high performance kids and we do match play in the afternoon. And we'll always stop around 2:45 because we stop at 3 and everybody plays a 10-point tiebreaker every day. It might be against who they just played, but it might be against someone different, but everybody plays a breaker every day to get them in an environment, to get them used to the breakers. Of course, with the younger kids, the more comfortable they are just with the scoring and the rotation, it helps. But I think, you know, one of the things that I opened up with was we can talk all we want, but we got to put our kids in pressure to get them to learn to deal with it. You know, all these ways to deal with pressure from, you know, Dr. Jim Lair, who's got that unbelievable 16-second cure, which I think is fantastic, to getting kids to focus on their performance goals, to getting them to be mentally tough with their rituals. That stuff is wonderful, but it's no good if they're not getting to experience that. And if they're only playing 12 to 14 or 16 tournaments a year, that's not a lot. So trying to recreate pressure as much as we can, I think, is a big part of it. One last thing I didn't mention is when we are drilling a lot, we do short, quick fitness throughout the whole workout. We rarely will stop and do 15 minutes of fitness. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, it's just our philosophy. We'll do short little 2 minutes. So with our 2-hour workout program, always at the hour break, we'll stop and we'll do about 5 minutes of some speed and agility. I'm going to show you a couple of drills that we use. You might have seen them before, they may not. And also during our fed ball drills, we'll also do them. So for example, I think, and Ken even mentioned if somebody misses, everybody runs. But randomly what we'll be doing is we'll be feeding balls and we're just winding down our fed ball drill and we'll yell out, 2 halves everybody. So everybody has to run from the baseline to the service line and back pedal twice. Very simple, but they know the system. We do it every single day. 2 up and backs. They run to the net, they run back. 15 kangaroo jumps. It's almost a routine that they're always doing it because we also want our kids to learn to play when they're fatigued. That's pressure. I think that's probably maybe one of the greatest pressures is playing when you're fatigued and your legs are heavy. And we want to try to recreate that as we go through. So I'm going to let you guys sneak out of this because you guys have been hitting a lot. So I appreciate your work. So thank you. You guys are going to help me if you don't mind. So once you set your rackets against the back curtain, if you would, please. And I'll just finish up with a couple more here. Thank you. These are called figure 8s with leg burners. If you guys want to come over to the side so everybody can see you here. And what I'm trying to do is incorporate as much as we can similar movements that we would use in tennis. So actually I have these on the wrong line, I'm sorry. All right, so you can come over to these cones if you like, and you'll go right here, great. You're gonna start on your far left cone, facing this way. Now when I say go, you guys, can I step in for you? When I say go, you guys doing 4 figure 8s as fast as you can. If you knock a cone over, you gotta replace it. Now when you're done with that, then you have to do a leg burner. You know, leg burner is you're using the center line in the doubles of the single file line, and all you got to do is put your hand over the line. There's 1, 2, back 3, 4, 5, and then you're back. So 4 figure 8s and then 5 lines. Are you ready? Start on the far left cone. Ready? Go. And we'll do 3, 4 sets of these. Again, run around forehands, run around backhands, balls that are jammed at your body, speed and agility here. Okay, just over. Yeah, good, good. Face the same way the whole way. That's awesome, you guys. Great job. Come on, push it now. Push it in all the way. Quick, quick. Push it, push it. I think you did 7. Overachiever, you. Come on, that's 7. Only 5. Only 5. Bill, where are you? You guys are overachievers here. Good work. And again, don't forget when you do speed and agility or fitness, at least this part, recreate the match. They just did about 12 seconds of work, which is pretty long for a point. Let's let them recover for 20, 30 seconds. You know, having them do something that's not similar to match play is going to help them. So we typically have them break for 20, 30, 35 seconds. Sometimes if it's a longer drill, we'll give them a little bit longer time. So that's one right there. Another one, if you guys don't mind grabbing your rackets, and 4 balls, please.
The reason why hand over the line instead of touching anything.
Not bending from their back so much.
But if you bend from the legs, is that an issue?
No, I think that would be great to have a touch line, probably even better.
Okay,
Sometimes we'll have them have their racket and they're going to dig it like hitting a volley.
I just didn't know if I was missing something that I...
No, that's great. That's great. All right, let's have you guys, and we would have 4 here. You guys are going to have, let's go 4 balls. All 4 of your balls are right in the middle here, okay? Can I get our 2 guys back out? I'm sorry, one more time, please. You guys will need 4 balls, all 4 in the middle. You can put your racket in the corner over there. You can put your racket in this corner. You need 4 balls also. Oh yeah, come on in, thanks. What's your name? Good to see you. Grab 4 balls, put your racket right here, okay? You go over here. Yeah, you're running. 4 balls, you go in the middle. Right here, right in the middle. Right here? Yep. Real quick now, okay? Grab 4, come on in. All together. And then you go back to your corner, put your racket on the ground. You go right here. Thank you so much, good. And you put your racket right in that corner back there, yep. All right, now when I say go, you guys have to get 1 ball and bring it back to your racket. You win this game by getting 4 balls on your racket first, but you can also steal from other people. So the other rule is you can only have 1 ball in your hand at a time. Now obviously this is a fitness show, so we're working on moving and bending from the legs. We'll always reinforce that. But the other thing we're getting them to do is while they're doing fitness, they're actually thinking. There's a little bit of tactic involved, because as I'm running around, I'm using my vision to, oh, he's got 3 balls, I'm going to his racket, I'm not going to worry about my ball. So there's kind of some cat and mouse going on, okay? You guys have any questions on the drill? 1 at a time, you need 4 balls, you can steal from anybody you want. Ready? Go! Fun game, we do it like halfway through. I've never had anybody bump heads, but somebody asked me about that the other day.
Oh, the younger one. Yeah.
I don't usually do this with the younger kids, I'll do it with the older kids. Oh, ball game! You guys, girls rule, boys rule. Ball game, ball game. No, she just hit your guys right there.
What are you doing, Seth?
You guys are fighting with each other over there. So that's another drill that we use. Does anybody have any other similar ones to that as we wrap it up here?
I'll do the same thing, but instead of...
Right here, hold on. Go ahead.
So I'll do the same thing, but instead of 12 balls in the middle, I'll make it 9 or 10. So you don't even have an opportunity to get your 4th ball from there. You always have to try to go steal, so they're going everywhere. So
awesome.
You got to get 4 again, but less balls. So.
Less balls, so you got to steal.
And we do that, and then the second round we take a ball away, so it gets more difficult the more it goes.
Great.
Yep.
All right, you guys can jump up. All right, let's have you. How about you 3 juniors? You're on the baseline if you would, please. And again, as I mentioned before, kind of back to the theme of what we're talking about, you're using this throughout your workout to create physical pressure for your kids now. So physical becomes mental for them and how they recover. All right, you guys, rackets against the fences, you don't need them. And you're going to strut out on the baseline, please. We call this Dancing with the Stars. It's got 3 parts to it. It works a lot on quickness with change of direction and a very severe change of direction at the end. Now, you guys are going to start on the baseline. When I say go, the first thing you're doing is you're going over and back as fast as you can, okay? When I say go a second time, you're running to the service line and backpedaling. Just keep doing it. And when I say go a 3rd time, wherever you're at, change directions and get to the net as fast as you can. So 3 parts. We got this, running up and back, and then you're going to the net. Question? Go. Go. Back pedal, back pedal, back pedal. Good. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Come on. Push. Push. Go. Change direction. And you guys walk back and recover. We ask them to recover. We reinforce if they have the racket, they'd go in the opposite hand, the whole deal there. We have 2 other versions of that. We usually do 6 of those with 3 sets. We would do the same thing, guys, but the first part's going to change now. So now you're going to go 1 foot up, 1 foot up, 1 foot back, 1 foot back. So it looks like this. Okay? Let's try to hit that first part. You don't have to do the other part. Okay? Ready? Go. All right, good. That's great. Stop there. We would do 2 sets of that, and then our final round is the ski moves. You're going to keep your hips locked. And you're going straight ahead like that as fast as you can. Okay, ready? Go. And relax. So it's a good way for us to finish up our workout, okay? Our last one is more of an athletic drill than it is tennis, but we always tell our kids, we say, hey, we know that this, you're going to say to yourself, this has nothing to do with tennis. But if you become a better athlete, you'll become a better tennis player. So we always reinforce that because kids are always going, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
What's this got to do with tennis? And this drill is one of those where they always ask, why are you doing this? I'm going to have you guys, just for safety, I'm just going to use 1 group. So I'm not going to use you right now, so you can step out, okay? You're going to be laying down right here with your belly button. This is called chase and catch. And And what we're working on is having kids understand how to get their feet underneath themselves and get on the blocks quick. Chasing a drop shot down, running for a short ball, whatever it happens to be. You're gonna lay on your belly. Your belly button's gonna be in the middle of the alley. Slide back a little more, and you're facing straight ahead. No, straight ahead. Are you ready? Watch those balls by your feet, please. Your hands on the fence. Now, when I say go, you've got to get up. Let's switch. Let's have him chase you.
Yeah, that's good.
When I say go, you've got to get up and in a straight line, no zigzag. You've got to get to that alley on the next court before she catches you. You can turn around. You can turn around. Just put your hand on the fence. Okay, ready? Go. Get him. Get him. Don't let it beat you. She just got you because you didn't go to the second alley.
Okay.
See that? Nice job. Go back. Now, someone said before about varying levels of play and having bisques. You got to have bisque and fitness if you're competing too. So now what we say is, hey, if you got caught, let's say you got caught. Pretend you got caught. Let's come on a little further. Come on out here. So we give him a little further distance. If you didn't get caught, we push him back further, closer to her. That way you're going to challenge each other and make it more real. Try one more. Go further out. Ready? Go. We usually do 3 sets. We switch. You can also do it where you're sitting down Indian style. They got to get up and move. And again, all it is working on athleticism. And I think, again, reinforcing with the kids, yes, it's not tennis, but if you're a better athlete, you'll be a better tennis player too. Does anybody have any other kind of speed agility drills that they use during a clinic that maybe could create some physical pressure for them?
Yes.
Yes.
Ladder.
Using a ladder.
Yes, I put a lot of emphasis on just like agility work with ladder. I've seen a lot of improvement, even with ladies. You know, not as complicated than with the advanced juniors, but still, some ladder work, it makes them to take smaller steps. You know, even have the ladder involved with some hitting. You know, have it laid down on the side. You know, have it go through and then hit a ball. Often older ladies, they take big steps, right, before they take the ball, but if they run through the ladder and then get a ball, they continue that pattern and actually take smaller steps to the ball, which is good. For juniors, it can get very advanced, you know, and very complicated, forward, backwards, and some crazy stuff, but yeah.
Anybody else?
I like
Running lines.
Tap the neck and back, split step on a line, split step. Every time they hit a line, they have a split step.
We, go ahead, sorry, Todd.
the mirror is a great one. Yeah, you and I are facing each other, and you got to repeat what I do, and the change of direction is great during that.
We do similar. We do tag.
Yeah.
So we'll have the 4 kids have to be in blue, and they've got to catch everybody in 30 seconds. So there's a lot of split step and changing directions and that kind of thing. What I'll finish with is kind of what I started with, and that is we could spend a whole nother hour, and Ken's probably done talks on these too, where we're talking about now how do you teach your kid to deal with the pressure. That wasn't my intent. That could be another time with all the mental stuff. I wanted to kind of reinforce what are ways we can put our kids in pressure so then we can teach them how to deal with pressure. So from dead ball drills to live ball drills to using fitness to fatigue your players, all those ways, any ways that you can get your players more pressure in their practice, they're going to be mentally tougher. Again, I think I said at the beginning, we talk a lot about, and I'm guilty of this, I talk a lot about what you should be doing, but we're not putting them in that environment enough. And we expect them to then go into the tournament, and we go, why aren't you mentally tough? Why did you fall apart? Well, we're not practicing that enough. Their forehand was fine because they practice their forehand all the time. We've got to practice that whole idea of being tough mentally and dealing with pressure, just like we practice our technique and our strokes too. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier when they're playing their points, you're on half-court games, and you asked the final point, whether you won or lost, the importance of the point. You didn't want the person down 2-9 to just dump because they were losing. How was it again that you went about asking who won, or what was there a method of attaching importance to that?
You're not talking about the counting drill, you're talking about when they're competing.
No, they're competing in a move-up, move-down game. And
7-6
you know,
and he loses the point.
We wanted to know on the final point, all across the board, who won that final point, whether you won the match or not. I mean, that's what it sounded like you were telling us. What's your method?
We'll ask them if they're playing the point when I call time.
Okay.
So you figure if you got 8 kids, 8 halves playing, half of them might be in the middle of the point when I call time. But we'll always go in the middle of the point. Bill, play that point tough. Come on, doesn't matter what the score is while they're playing the point, just to reinforce that. We don't have a scoring system for that. It's just reinforcing it verbally with them. But you couldn't you?
Well, I was thinking,
you could say, hey, if you win the last point, no matter what the score is, you get to move up.
Well, I was thinking maybe you move up, move down according to your victories as you would otherwise, but your physical attribute, like kangaroo jumps or running, has to do with that final point.
Great idea.
So that way
like
you can lose, but
that's a
didn't have
really
to do
good
that,
idea.
that
Yeah,
physical thing.
you still have the ladder system working, but the person that lost the last point has some physical. Yeah, that's a great one. I like that because you're getting both people involved in that. That's good. Anything else? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Bill.